There's a sun I feel where you don't say. Scorpio moon, I see through the gray. I'm tuned to your soul, I read the unseen. 8th house mind, 12th house dreams. Tarot in my hands, planets in my sight. I decode the dark, turn shadow to light.
Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite astrologer and tarot reader. And this week is not normal. Okay, this video and episode is going to have so much. You guys get ready. And you need to understand that this is not normal. We have a heavy concentration in the energy of Aries. And this is something that we don't see that often because we have not just, normally we have the sun in Aries, we have Mars in Aries, Mercury, but not Neptune and Saturn. And now we have multiple planets in the sign Aries, and that is going to create a level of intensity, urgency, activations, and it's going to be undeniable. This is reset energy. This is all these planets are starting new. They're starting a new cycle. There is a new beginning, a new story. And there is a focus on resetting the mind, the body, and even the focus energy, and the direction is even somewhat within, also very external outwardly. Aries is about autonomy, it's about independence, it's about taking risk, it's about bravery, instincts, and action. So collectively and individually, we're feeling more impulsive, impatient, reactive, more passionate, almost survival energy, and it's turned up, way up high, okay, on a level 10. um this is not energy that waits. This is energy that is very movement forward energy. At the same time, we have the sun that is in a sign Aries, and then we have Chiron that is also in a sign Aries, and they are sitting close together. And so there are heavy themes currently about healing, about the identity, or maybe there is this sense of you're a victim. Oh, well, it's me, I'm a victim kind of energy. There's also a spotlight on the self and who you are and how you show up and where you may still feel wounded. All that, okay? At the same time, Aries, um, healing doesn't come from sitting still, though. It comes from movement. It comes from your gut reaction. It comes from action. It's very fire. Fire is very masculine energy. Now, another layer that we have with this major energy of all these celestial beings in the sign Aries, and then the sun sitting next to Chiron, which there is a huge ego healing. There is major construction happening where I live, so I'm distracted. You may not be distracted. I'm just letting you know. But also another layer that we have from just those two things is that we also have Uranus currently in 29 degrees in Gemini. And I will show all these, in Taurus. I will show all these as I keep going, but I'm just telling you, this is just the introduction of what we have this week, okay? And Uranus at 29 degrees is a critical degree. It is going to change into the sign later on this month, April 25th, in the sign Gemini. So currently, right now, there are a lot of shocking events happening in the sign Taurus. Things that are very tangible, tangible resources, food, money, banks, what we owe, what we own, what we value as well. The other day, I got a bill. My husband got a bill. um, and it was doubled in size in regards to our power, and that may be a dispute. We got to find that out today. At the same time, this is about the money and shocking events. It's like, what is going on? Very unexpected, shocking, and it's tied to resources and supply and the economy. And maybe this bill is a new way of things are happening because of what's going on with the economy. But with Uranus at this degree is also impacting Trump personally, because Uranus is at 29 degrees. It is squaring his midheaven. The next video I'm going to do is going to be on Trump and JD Vance. So get ready for that, and why Trump is acting a fool and what is the predictions of Trump coming up. But it is squaring, Uranus is in his 10th house. It is squaring his ascendant in the sign Leo. So major disruptions tied into him personally and leadership and his public image and how resources are being handled even within America, because you're talking about the leader of America, right? This is why we're seeing heightened tensions around what we have and what we're losing and what needs to change. Shocking events happening to Trump personally, not just him being a leader, but the things that he say and the things that he does, the things that he has been doing is personally affecting him big time. Venus is also sitting very close to Uranus, and not just for him but collectively this could represent partnerships, balance, your harmony, disruptions in harmony and balance, disruptions in partnerships. And that can also mean that for Trump, when you had I keep mixing Ivanka and Melania, but you had his wife speak, and she said something that he said he wasn't aware of. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just letting you know. That would be that Uranus sitting close to sitting close to Venus, and then it will continue to sit next to Venus at 29 degrees, and then it will move into, both of them will move into the sign Gemini, which will Trump will have a Gemini return soon coming up in a few years, but it also could represent his VP, vice president. We'll talk about that in another video, but in this week we have a lot of transits. Okay, so a lot of things are happening this week. I want you to understand when we go through this video why it's so informative, why there's so much information happening. Because one, you're talking about shifting the energy, and there's a high focus of Aries energy, a high focus of resetting, restarting, being independent, even being selfish. Aries is very aggressive too. So you have that. At the same time, the ego needs some healing in those energies of the self and selfishness, and maybe a new form of healing, or maybe this new life that you're going to have. And then at the same time, Uranus is sitting at 29 degrees. An urgency to close things out, a lot of shocking things when it comes to your money. Now, I'm going to bring up the dates here. I'm just going to, my mouse doesn't have battery. So I'm like using my what is this little doodad here? It doesn't have battery. This is the monthly astrology dates here that you are looking at, but we're just going to look at this week. April 14th, Mercury will enter Aries. I am recording this live unedited. April 13th. On April 16th, Mercury will immediately conjunct Neptune. Once Mercury enters Aries, it's going to be sitting close to Neptune. Be aware what you hear in the news. Okay, there's deceptions and lies. Okay, now on the 17th we have the new moon in Aries. This is for all of you guys. A lot of people watch astrology videos to watch the full moon and the new moon in Aries, but there's more to astrology, but here it is. So we have the new moon in Aries. It's going to conjunct Chiron. Again, we're discussing this healing aspect. Yeah, and the ruler of the new moon is Mars. So we'll talk about that. April 19th, Mars, which is the ruler of this new moon, is going to be sitting close to Saturn. They're all sitting close together. So that's Mars, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune. So they're all doing something new that we are really not used to. There's not a lot of reports astrologically about this, but I will explain my best on what we can look forward to, because I know what each planet and celestial being and the energy of Aries represents. On the 19th, we have the solar return for all of my Tauruses. Happy solar return. The sun will enter Taurus. April 20th, Mercury will sit very close on top of Mars. Okay. Even though they're all sitting close together already. So that is what we have. Now, let me pull up. Uh-oh. I pressed a button. How do I reduce it? I pressed a button. There we go. Ooh, without a mouse, I don't even know how to function. Okay. Here we go. So let's get into this chart here. And if you have any comments, I'll look at them after I finish looking at the chart. I'm having difficulty moving stuff around. It's just stuck. Without my mouse, but have patience for me. Okay. So first we do April 14th. If you are listening to this via podcast, welcome. How are you doing? And I am showing the chart, but I will explain everything that I see. Now, Mercury will immediately enter Aries. Now, before it enters Aries on the 14th, it will be 29 degrees in Pisces. So there's going to be an urgency. Anytime you have any planets at 29 degrees, if you're not talking about a natal chart, if we're talking about the vibe in the sky, there is an urgency to close things out. So there's going to be immediate rush to close things out in the themes of Pisces. So that involves endings, releasing, forgiveness, things that are very unknown, conspiracy theories, secrets, the enemies behind closed doors that you cannot see, things that you cannot see. Pisces also represents death. It represents sleeping, dreams, symbolism, creativity, arts, photography, and film. Okay, so those are going to be shut down and closed out, and now Mercury will start a new cycle. All these planets will start a new cycle because Aries represents the beginning of the astrological clock. And so now everything's starting anew. Aries also represents new beginnings too. Okay. So when you have Mercury, anytime you have Mercury, you're talking about communication, speech, thinking patterns, your mindset, information, any type of data exchange, learning, studying, education, early education, because higher education, I realize that I need to scoot over. Higher education is dealing with Jupiter, but Mercury deals with the beginning stages of education. And then you also have, wait, I lost my chart here. Okay. Then you also have Mercury is in charge of all form of communications. So also like writing, speaking, teaching, technology, any kind of gadget. So like a phone, apps, social media, transportation, day-to-day transportation. So like your cars, any kind of commute. Mercury also deals with our neighbors, our community, our siblings, our local environment, any kind of contracts that you sign, any agreements, any paperwork. Mercury is in charge of the curiosity and being adaptable, hands as well, problem solving. Mercury is very neutral. It doesn't like to judge, and it is the messenger of the astrology. Now, when you have it in a sign Aries, Aries is about action. It is the first zodiac sign. So it's all about number one, initiation, courage, bravery, independence, really about the self, a lot of self focus, independence as well. Did I say independence? Leadership, taking charge, being courageous, also very impulsive, very quick energy, not cautious, Aries is also anger, conflict, confrontation. It also is a great competitor. Anyone who has strong Aries placements are probably athletes or very athletic. It deals with the body. So the mind is now thinking about the body. But it likes to win. Very physical energy, body movement. A lot of people are thinking about working out now more than ever. Survival instincts, raw authenticity. This is who I am. Very blunt. Yeah, and me first kind of mentality. Now, when Mercury is in the sign Aries, right now we're putting those two together. You are dealing with some content that's very spicy. First of all, because Mercury, Aries is about the libido, right? Mars, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, thinking that kind of aspect. And Mars is the ruler of Aries. But people will be speaking more boldly, more direct. There's a lot of fast thinking. There's quick decisions. You're saying things without filters. You're initiating conversation. You're not hesitant if you are normally. A lot of arguments while Mercury's in Aries. A lot of debates. Mercury does represent debates. But now debates are either aggressive or you're very fearless during a debate. Very confrontational, truth coming out suddenly, taking action based on ideas, leadership through communication, very impulsive when it comes to any type of messaging. So, like when you're texting, you're emailing, when you're posting on social media, confidence and self expression. Clarity about the self and knowing about the self and discussing the self and speaking up for yourself. Clarity also, um, very competitive, not clarity, very competitive when it comes to speaking and thinking. Impatient with words, gadgets, overheating could be a big thing too because Aries is a fire sign. So get ready for that. So that's usually when Mercury's in Leo, it's like you left your phone out in the sun, but maybe you left it plugged up too long or something like that. But just know that Aries is about heat, and now you're talking about your car overheating, your computer overheating. Bold communication probably will get favored too. So if you are being more bold at work or when you're having discussions and you say something bold, people are more accepting because the collective currently or now at one when it comes to Mercury and Aries. Everyone's got Mercury and Aries, okay? I said what I said, kind of energy, no sugarcoating, no overthinking, just the truth and action. Now, in mundane astrology, meaning globally, everyone, the collective, the media and reporting, the stories are very push forward. There's a lot of wait, hold on. Oh, do I just have okay? So okay, I just have my notes are kind of scrambled. Anyway, but when you're talking about globally, now when you have social media, when you have the news, the words, the headlines could be very aggressive, could be very assertive, could be about fighting as well. A lot of things are discussions about guns, violence, or any type of weapons as well. Social media platforms, a lot of sexuality through social media platforms. Now, remember that Mercury is going to be sitting close to actually, let me show it here. Mercury is going to be sitting close to Neptune and Mars while it's in Mercury, and it's going to be sitting close to Saturn. So these aspects puts a twist to that Aries energy. So I find that Neptune represents feminine energy. It represents space. It represents the ending. So a lot of more female energies with the aggression on social media or on in the media. Okay, with technology and devices in Aries. Again, a lot of fast discussions and deleting and texting and texting before even thinking kind of energy. Transportation's a lot of arguing while you're day to day driving, a lot of fast driving. So everyone be careful. Contracts and agreements, it could be over something dealing with war or a conflict, or maybe you're signing a contract that deals with sports or something with the physical body. Education, again, you're signing contracts or you're signing something or you decided to learn something new or something that improves the self. Locally, your community could either be aggressive or maybe you're starting a new community or your community is starting something new. There's a reset happening there too. Mercury also represents the youth. So the youth being more bolder when they talk and say things. Okay. Also, too, I want you to understand that Mercury, while it's in Aries, Mercury, not just while it's in Aries, but Mercury is the ruler of the South Node, and the South Node is currently in Virgo. That's why it's the ruler. It's the ruler of Gemini and Virgo. And so while Mercury's in Aries, being the ruler of that South Node, first of all, the South Node is about releasing and letting go. Okay. It's about past patterns, things that you're very comfortable, it's your comfortable zone, what you fall back on automatically. While it's in Virgo, you are overthinking, you're being a perfectionist, you're controlling all through details. Okay. There's a lot of anxiety and worry and needing to make everything makes sense and even maybe having some tangible results with things. Okay. Now, Mercury is the ruler. And since Mercury is the ruler and it's in Aries, this energy of releasing is going to be fast. It needs to be brave. It's going to be impulsive. There's a lot of action driven energy with releasing. Those things that are very detailed are being perfect. Virgo energy likes to move very slow, but Aries makes it move fast. So this will be very energy, wanting to analyze everything, being forced to act quickly. Just say it, stop overthinking, and just move. Reacting instead of thinking, no, when releasing some stuff. So be careful. Making rash decisions without using discernment also could be happening. Far as globally, collectively, because Mercury is going to be the ruler of this South Node here in Virgo, systems based on logic and detail being disrupted, people moving away from over analyzing into action, decisions being made faster. Just know the theme of speed in first. Alpha kind of energy is going to be really fast. The perfect system is going to shift into urgency to change. Okay. Yeah, so that is what we have. Let me see. Let's talk about the transits. Wait, let me see what else we have. Oh, Mercury and Aries collectively, aggressive messaging, bold political statements, leaders speaking impulsively, conflicts triggered by words, fast decisions announced publicly. We can have now. I want to talk about Mercury. It will be sitting next to the moon once it enters. Once it enters Aries. So the moon represents the people collectively. So you, I, everyone. And now the people are going to either be thinking and emotionally reacting fast to a lot of things. Okay. Now, individually, personally, the moon represents emotions, sensitivity, your mom, being lack of, your homeland collectively. Sitting next to Mercury, there's a lot of news around that. Okay. Now, Mercury sitting next to Mars. In Aries is war of words, heated debates, a lot of fiery speech, protests sparked by communication. The energy is like, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, because we're talking about weapons, a lot of aggression towards the messenger. And remember, Mercury is a messenger. Words, action, real fast kind of energy. Okay, now Mercury is also going to sit next to Neptune. So remember, we got it sitting next to the sun. We got it sitting next to Mars. We got it sitting next to Neptune. Okay, this is all starting tomorrow. Okay. And sitting next to a Saturn, there's restrictions in your speech, there's censorship, there's serious announcements. Maybe there's laws or policies being communicated. This is also, if someone is angry, there is some consequences. So be aware of that. Whatever you are being, or whatever is being said is very impulsive, or there's anger, there will be some consequences with that Saturn sitting there, or bad karma, bad juju. Okay. Neptune sitting next to, Mercury sitting next to Neptune. Have I been saying Neptune the whole time? Mercury sitting next to Neptune is going to add a lot of confusion. And so this is, once it enters, I believe, once it enters Aries, I would not really listen to anything in the news starting tomorrow, okay? Because there is going to be confusion, maybe even gossip. When people are talking to you personally, maybe there's fake news, as Trump likes to say, but a lot of illusions, a lot of propaganda. Maybe on the positive side, though, there is spiritual messaging. There is creativity with words. This is someone who could really write a poem, or someone who can use symbolism when it comes to communication. Your dreams are really being communicated. Very intuitive energy. Great time for a tarot reading. Great time for a tarot reading. Okay, I should come on tomorrow and just do tarot. Maybe I should do it live. Mercury also is in charge of trade, and Mercury in Aries is impulsive buying, it's impulsive selling, fast business decisions, aggressive marketing, quick launches, competitive, quick launches, competition with brands, or competition in sales. Okay, so you also have that as well. Let me see. Yeah, Mercury, oh, let's talk about some transits. But before I talk about the transits, so that's how it is when it's sitting close to all those things. You got to put them all together, okay? So let's just say, me being an astrologer, I know this, so I'm going to put some stuff together. Mercury sitting next to the moon is going to add some sensitivity, right? So people are aggressive and sensitive at the same time, okay? Or people are aggressive, and maybe they're aggressive because they're insecure. Neptune also adds some sensitivity, okay? So they're extra sensitive, or maybe you can feel the energy before they even say it, that kind of energy. So you have that, things are being said really fast, and there's also a loaded insecure sensitivity energy added to what is being said. Then there's aggression. People are coming at you. Not only are they saying it to you, but they're moving forward, and they're moving fast, and you have to react fast. And at the end, there's going to be a consequence for that behavior. Okay, that's one. On the positive side, this is someone who's highly motivated. They're very creative. They're very in tune with their body, and knows that, oh, this feels right. And there is high physical motivation to move forward, and to get things started, and to be courageous, and to be brave. And you're thinking long term. You're being very serious, and there's a lot of details handed out to that. So that's what we have with Mercury in Aries in a nutshell. But I want you to also understand that the ruler of Mercury, while it's in Aries, is Mars. So while Mercury's in Aries, whatever Mars is doing is going to affect that Mercury, right? Let me see. And Mars is in Aries, and it's at home in Aries. And because it's sitting next to Neptune and Saturn, there is this energy of thinking creative, or a lot of people using their intuition before they even speak. There is that energy. And there's this also grounded energy, or even negativity. Both of these planets can represent a doomsday, negative, dark kind of energy. So be aware of that. You want to be inspired. You want to think new. You don't want to think in lack. Saturn can think in lack. And that could be affecting the way we are thinking when we're moving fast and when we're being aggressive. On the positive side, Mars sitting next to Neptune makes you very creative and very intuitive, and Mars sitting next to Saturn makes you think of the long-term consequences, and it makes you think forward ahead, but further than just tomorrow. You're thinking about years ahead, and you're able to plan and be creative with that. Okay. Now let's talk about the transits. While Mercury is in Mars, and don't worry, we got a lot going on. We're going to talk about the new moon in Aries as well. But first, Mercury in Aries, because it happens very soon. But while Mercury is in Aries, because it's conjunct that Neptune, again, that's the first thing it's going to do. There is going to be aware of the confusion, use your intuition. There's a lot of illusions, a lot of blurred information, a lot of misinformation, a lot of believing someone too quickly. But imagination is very high. Messages that feels true may not be true. Okay. And globally, fake news. Fake news. Okay. So you have that. And then we have, let me see, did I skip one? Mercury is going to conjunct Saturn. Again, this is a reality check. This is someone who's going to say something very correct and matter of fact, very serious conversations, very structured thinking, accountable when it comes to communication. Again, very critical energy, though. Very harsh, very fear speaking, very mental pressure. Okay. And also, too, because we're in Aries, you're talking about fear based energy when it comes to any type of conflict or war. People are going to be scared of the discussions of war, are scared of someone fighting them. So you have that as well. Mercury conjunct Mars. Now action meets what you say and what you think. So you say it, you do it, and because of the Aries, it's very now energy. So a lot of fast decisions, a lot of bold speech, a lot of direct communications, a lot of arguments, a lot of impulsive messages, a lot of verbal fights, a lot of reacting too quickly. Globally, this is heated debates. A lot of leaders may be speaking with some intense words, not intense. Fiery words. Okay. Protest. I don't know. Protest is not the word. Just fighting publicly. Okay. So you have that. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Also, too, Mercury soon, we'll get into the new moon, will be sitting next to this new moon as well. So Mercury sitting next to all these planets and Chiron, healing. We'll get into the new moon later. But also, too, Mercury will eventually hit 17 or 18 degrees. It will square Jupiter. And when it squares Jupiter, this is your emotions, because Jupiter's in a sign Cancer, dealing with your logic. And these are big ideas. You could be overly sensitive, or you could be still that intuition, maybe overconfident in decisions, exaggerating, over promising, emotional reactions, misinformation, dramatic. Dramatic. This is, because dramatic is more Leo, just over exaggerated. Okay. I don't know another word. Emotionally public relations are reactions, not relations, reactions happening too. Yeah, so just get ready. I feel like when it gets closer around just April 17th, closer in a few more days, we'll say like a week, when it gets closer to this squaring of Jupiter, I would think that there's going to be a headline in the news, because Mercury represents the headline and it's really over exaggerated. So be aware of that. Um, Let me give you some horoscopes while Mercury's in Aries, real quick. And while Mercury's in Aries, I cannot move fast without a mouse. Okay. And I want to move fast because I got this Aries energy happening here. While Mercury's in Aries, first of all of my people who have Gemini and Virgo placements, Mercury definitely changing into Aries is going to affect you, because it's the ruler of Mercury, it's the ruler of Virgo and Gemini. So those will be mostly affected for sure, because now you have this shift of aggression and fast and impatientness. Now, all my fire signs, though, if you have any placements in Sagittarius or any placements in what's my other fire sign? Why can I think of it? I want to say Aries, Sagittarius. Why am I drawing a Leo? I'm so sorry, Leos. If there's any, if you guys any placements well, not any placements. Mercury in Aries is going to bring some positivity towards you. So every time Mercury is in Aries is very positive for you. Now, on my Libras, this is opposing you guys. So my Libra placements, there's going to be some opposition to what you say, or transactions, or trade, or day-to-day travel. Okay. So you guys will, those are the signs who will be feeling it the most. Just so you know. Oh, cardinal signs, my Capricorns and Cancers. Oh, you guys don't like Mercury's in Aries, okay? There's tensions to what is said. So this is when you want to slow down. This is what you want to control your anger and think long term, okay? All my Aries risings. Oh, wait. First, I just want you to understand. I'm going to do the horoscopes. They're going to be very quick, and then we're going to the new moon in Aries, okay? So I'm not going to do the timestamps for each sign because it's so quick. So if this is saved, because right now I'm doing this live, right? You don't need to leave. It's going to be fast, okay? Aries rising is going to be in your first house. You're speaking your truth louder than ever. Taurus rising, 12th house. This is about private thoughts. And it's going to be about the self and ending a new beginning of healing for you. Gemini risings, 11th house. This is all about your voice, and you're standing out in a group. You're speaking up some new ideas in a crowd or in a network. Cancer risings, 10th house. Bold communication in your career. Leo risings, 9th house. Say what you believe, your opinions, your teachings, or content. It can reach really far. This is about changing that philosophy as well and being brave with it. Virgo rising, 8th house. This is a transformation. This is intensity with conversations. Maybe there's discussions about money, but shared income. Trust or intimacy. Speak carefully, okay? Libra rising, 7th house. All about your partner. Maybe more about them. Maybe they're more vocal and starting something new. But if it's about you, it's direct communication with a partnership, or also thinking about some personal harmony as well. Scorpio rising, 6th house, fast decisions in work and routine in your day-to-day organization. Sagittarius risings, 5th house, confident self-expression, having some discussions with a new love to a new fling, even something new beginning with your children. Capricorn risings. Did I say Sagittarius? Yeah, I said that 5th house. Capricorn risings, 4th house. Conversations at home. It gets a little real. All this is already happening for all of my signs. Every sign that I'm discussing, you already have Neptune there, you have the Sun there, and you have Chiron there, and you have Saturn there. Okay, so these are things that are already strong, okay? But Mercury now makes you think about it, okay? So Aquarius rising, 3rd house. Did I say? Yeah, I said Capricorn is all about your family, and Aquarius or something from the past. Aquarius rising, this is your 3rd house. This is major communication, speaking, posting. It's all about writing or starting a new book, maybe going to learn something new at school. Pisces, 2nd house, money conversations are heating up. Speak up about what you value and what you deserve, okay? Mercury in Aries is going to be a very interesting journey, again, because this is something new for the collective, for you individually. Be careful what you believe, be intentional with what you say, and be responsible for how you act. There is a lot of aggression. Let's be patient and loving to others, okay? So work on being impatient with your thoughts and before you text. And even when you're traveling, there could be a lot of aggression there, okay? Now, let's go back to the chart and let's see what we have for April 16th. April 16th. Again, we already talked about Mercury sitting close to Neptune, but it will be very on top of Neptune. Again, blurred truth, very impulsive actions added together. Again, Mercury is all things communication. Neptune is illusions, confusions, even spirituality. So on the positive side, this can make you very creative, and you can be very inspired to be close to your spirituality. On the negative side, lies. Okay, jumping to conclusions, misreading situations, acting too quickly, yeah. Also on the positive side, again, using your intuition, it will be very very strong with this energy. Anything in the news this day, though, once Mercury enters Aries, don't believe stuff. Okay, in the news, just don't believe it. Oh, you know what this makes me also think of? It makes me think of. I live in Los Angeles, and when I turn on my social media, it looks like everyone's at Coachella, and that could, like, if I didn't have social media, I wouldn't even know Coachella existed to, at this current time. I wouldn't know people were at Coachella. LA is still very busy this weekend. Everything was normal, and the internet made you think that it was completely different. So that was very interesting. But that's what the internet does, right? It can deceive. Okay, deception. So I'm saying in that light, use that same energy. Just don't believe it unless you physically can see it yourself, as well. But maybe seeing things won't be as good either. Let me see what else I have. So that's we talked about that. So let's get into the new moon in Aries, and I'm gonna do this exact new moon. Here we go. It is April 17th. It is in the sign Aries. Don't worry about what house is in. This new moon, if you see, is at 27 degrees. We'll talk about what that means. It's also sitting close to Chiron, which is 26 degrees. Hence, this healing aspect, which we already discussed a little bit in the intro, but we'll talk about how this affects the new moon. Now, on the same situation, we want to look at the ruler of the new moon. That's Mars. And remember, I told you it's sitting next to Mercury, it's sitting next to Saturn, it's sitting next to Neptune. That affects this new moon. Okay, so this new moon, if I didn't have the title of it anywhere, it's all about manifestation. Okay, you're talking about a reset and a new moon together. You're talking about Aries and a new moon, a reset and manifestation. Aries makes you do. It makes you physically get up. It's very inspiring. So, manifestation during a new moon in Aries works well because you are combining initiation energy, Aries, and planting energy with the new moon. Aries doesn't wait, it acts. So this isn't just about writing your intentions, which we'll talk about that. It's about moving on them, moving with them, and not just discussing them, but doing them immediately. Okay. The new moon sets the seeds, but Aries brings the fire that activates it. It brings the drive, the motivation, the passion, meaning your results come faster than, especially when you take bold and decisive action that's aligned with what you want and what you wrote down, because you need to write down. We'll talk about that. This manifestation is going to be through courage, through confidence, focusing on the self. There's going to be momentum and not a lot of overthinking. The theme of this new moon is initiation, courage, raw beginnings. It's not soft. It's a very go energy, very masculine energy. New moons represent new identity, taking initiative, bold decisions, independence, leadership, entrepreneurship. Physical energy, like working out as well, starting something from scratch, acting without overthinking. You're not going to wait for permission. You're not going to overplan. You're just going to move. Be careful though. You know, not all new moons are positive, even though they should be. This could be very selfish energy, so you want to be aware of that. It could cause a lot of impatientness, a lot of anger, a lot of frustrations. Maybe you're acting too fast, kind of energy. Maybe you're starting something and not finishing, because Aries loves to start. But we got Saturn in Aries. So maybe things will get finished. Okay. So you do have that. Now, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars, again, action, war, drive. Now, when you have it with that new moon, because the ruler of the new moon is Mars. A lot of willpower, a lot of survival instincts, a lot of ability to fight for what you want. Saturn and Neptune sitting next to that Mars. Again, it makes the dreams a reality kind of energy. Also, to negativity. I talked about that, but we want to focus on making the dreams a reality and thinking long term. Okay. Now, the new moon, for the globally, not for personally, because I think I talked about it personally, but globally, this is going to be dealing with some military. Tensions could be rising, bold political decisions, leaders asserting themselves, people taking action. Yeah, even announcements too could be happening globally around the world. Let me see what else. Do not react out of anger. Do not rush blindly. Don't burn bridges impulsively. Now, you do want to use your instincts. You do want to use your intuition. You do want to be very courageous. And a lot of times when you have that, you are very impulsive. But if you think out of love instead of negativity and anger, when you do it out of anger, it's not going to work. When you do it out of love and compassion, it 100% works. Okay. Now, this new moon is sitting next to Chiron. This is going to be a big theme of this new moon. So not only are you manifesting for moving forward or bringing something new in your life, or manifesting something for yourself, but you're adding this wounded energy here. Okay. So There's healing through action. Say it, do it, become it. This is not just a new beginning. This is healing reset of your identity, or a new healing in something at a beginning, or a new healing of starting a new life kind of energy. Okay. Chiron is involved. The new moon is saying the thing that hurts you is the exact place where you want to lead. I'm going to repeat this. The thing that hurts you is the exact place where you're meant to lead. Okay. So the Chiron aspect, before the moon gets involved, the Chiron aspect can make a lot of people feel like they're the victim. Or maybe a lot of focus, because whatever the sun touches highlights what needs healing. I laugh because personally, I always, I got some eighth house placements. Okay. And I'm a Scorpio moon. The Scorpio moon is in the 12th house. So I have a lot of deep discussions with my husbands and my close friends about what do you need to heal? What needs healing? Oh, I mean, I would be tired of myself. It's like, does everything have to be so deep? Anyway, but with Chiron there, it really makes you focus on that strong person, or that leader, or that ego, or that person, that father figure, and how they need healing. Okay. So that is what you have with this new moon. And emotions are involved, and there's manifestations involved, and it's a new cycle. Not only is it not only is it a new cycle with Aries, and I'm sorry, coughing, I am human. Not only is it a new cycle with Aries, but it's a new moon cycle. Okay. And so it's a whole new fresh start, and having the motivations to do that. Now it's going to be at 27 degrees. Okay. 27 degrees is Gemini degree. Gemini represents communication. Okay. Voice, information, speaking up, using your platforms like social media, your phone, your media, journaling. These are all the things that you are going to want to use to manifest. So if you have, let's say you're an entrepreneur, you have a business, and you're like, I've decided that I want to have X, Y, and Z. You are going to go on social media and say, I've decided. And I want to put this out there in the world. And I'm going to be very bold and courageous, even though I don't put my personal business out in the world. I've decided I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Now, let's say you don't want to do that. You're like, I don't want to share that. You are going to write it down. You're going to make it as if it's so. You're going to write it as if it's so. Okay. You're going to share your knowledge too, because Gemini likes to, whatever it learns, it likes to share. So that is also part of this new moon manifestation. Finally saying what you've been holding in, launching content, speaking about this content, teaching about this content, conversations that trigger healing, messages that changes everything. Okay. I don't feel confident being myself may be the issue, but then you're like, no, I'm changing that, because that Chiron's there, and you're going to heal that low confidence energy. You're going to heal that I'm scared to take action energy. You're going to heal that I'm moving slow energy. Okay, Virgos. You're going to heal not trusting yourself to be a leader energy. Okay. So that's what we have. Again, Mars is the ruler. It's sitting next to Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury. Sitting next to Mercury means that it needs to be said. Okay. And you need to be serious when you say it, and you need to add compassion to your manifestation. Okay. Do not be hard on yourself. Dream it, and then it will come true. That's what that Neptune is also too. And think about long term. Really write down the details. You can be very detailed of what you want to manifest for this new moon. So I have some manifestation, some new moon rituals, okay? Because I believe that this new moon is all about manifestation. So, some new moon rituals you can do is that I will write it down. I will be very detailed on writing it down. I mean, we are dealing with that Virgo energy. So you need to really connect to your intuition and your spirituality when you're manifesting these things. And then immediately after you write it down, you need to take action. So you write it down and you physically get up. There's a proverb, and there's also an adinkra symbol. And I forgot the name of the adinkra symbol, but it says you pray and then you get up and move. Okay, so that's what you have. You're going to speak it out loud. Use your voice. Stand in the mirror, say your intentions, and you say it with confidence. and you repeat it until you know it's yours. That is one. Another one, movement ritual. Aries does rule the body, so use it. Go for a walk, maybe do a workout. Maybe start a new workout routine. While moving, focus on your intentions. You know, when a lot of people run, they feel like they're in a trance of like yoga. So that could also be done. Commitment ritual, because we have Saturn heavily influenced with this, right? It's about making it real. It's about thinking long term. It's about being serious about it. A manifestation sticks with it when it comes to discipline. And right now, you have the discipline and the drive. Now, clarity with this. You have that Neptune there. So, is this real? Is this aligned? Does it feel right? Is this intuitively going with what I feel? Is this in my divine? Am I reacting or intentionally choosing? Use that and make sure it's not an illusion. Now, release any fear energy. You can do a ritual, and because now you got that Chiron there, and you want to heal the wounded healer, the wounded energy. Okay, write down what you are scared of. You know that doesn't work for me because I have Neptune in the first house, so I cannot. This is just me personally. With others, it's fine, but when you have Neptune involved, really saying those things really works the opposite. It actually comes true. So for some, you can write down your fears and burn them away, or write down your insecurities and burn it because you're done with Aries energy. Because I have Neptune, it is better if I write down not the insecurities, but what I want to become, and not burn it. Actually, put it on a mirror and read it every day. Okay. So you have that, and if you can't burn it, you know, because that's unsafe, you can throw it away or tear it up or flush it down the toilet. Okay, yeah, but you have that. Also, too, you can always light a candle anytime there is a fire energy with the moon, with a new moon. You can light a candle. Now, all these rituals I would do before the new moon. So the new moon, what day did I say it is? I have too many windows on. The 17th. You want to do this April 16th. Okay. Do all these rituals and it will be amazing. Okay. Final rule for this new moon is move fast, but with intention. Speak it out loud. Get serious about it. Trust your intuition. Choose you unapologetically. Also, too worldly. Again, there could be something dealing with media, an announcement, breaking news, misinformation, because we got that Neptune added there, our female aspect added there too. Political decisions made quickly. So yeah. But just know that it is a major news aspect. Let me say the horoscopes for the new moon, and this is going to be quick. Okay, so don't be skipping. Aries, again, this is in your first house, like Mercury. So set a personal reset, manifest a new version of yourself. Taurus, it's a quiet new beginning. Again, releasing of the past. There's about forgiveness. Manifest through releasing. Let go of the old fears, the old patterns, the insecurities. Tap into that subconscious. Geminis, new goals around connections, the right people to deal with. Align yourself for your future, because the 11th house represents the future and hopes and dreams. This new moon manifesting for you is the best time ever. Whenever there is a Aries new moon, it is the best time for you to manifest. Okay. So it's really good. Now it's all about communicating. So manifest new goals aligned with connection, speak your vision, and take action towards your future. Cancers, career reset, manifest something that moves you forward on your career and everyone's looking at you kind of energy. Leos, new belief system, our direction. Maybe this is also dealing with traveling or higher learning. Manifest some expansion for sure. Virgo risings. This is all about some finances. Maybe this is emotional reset. This is also major healing and therapy for you. Manifest a transformation, a rebirth for sure. Focus on shared finances, investments, taxes, if you have a loan, if you're getting inheritance. But on another side, if there's something that's taboo or secretive or psychological awareness therapy, emotional healing for sure. Libra rising, 7th house. Again, this is all about a new chapter with relationships, partnerships beginning, manifest aligned a relationship, like, and it doesn't have to be a loved one, it could actually be a business partner too. Scorpio risings, reset your routine, your new habits, work, even your health. Manifest good health, manifest a better routine. Okay. Take actions toward a healthier routine. Okay, or healthier habits. Sagittarius rising, that's me. This is in your 5th house. I'm being very serious about having fun. Okay, but this is a fresh start also about your creativity, expressing yourself boldly and taking risk. This also is a house of children. So, really manifesting something for your child who's independent, who's courageous, or starting a new life. Manifest creative and creativity and love. Express yourself boldly. Yeah, this is all about you being truly authentic with no filter, because this is also the house of self expression. Um, Also too, taking a risk, because this is a house that deals with gambling. And you taking that gamble, not necessarily, I don't like to say gambling with money, but you take that gamble and it actually works. Capricorn risings is a new beginning and manifestations with the home, with a new foundation, with safety, with your family and emotional security. Aquarius, a new voice, manifesting your voice, writing, speaking, posting, social media, sharing your ideas with the collective or within your community, or even something with your siblings. And lastly, my Pisces. This is a financial reset. This is manifesting things that you value, manifesting something that deals with your money and your self worth, taking action towards a new income and a new value. Now, I want to pull some cards that are just about the new moon, and that is also about Mercury and Aries. Okay. So, first, we'll do some tarot about Mercury and Aries. And then we'll put some cards on the new moon. We'll put that there. So while Mercury's in Aries, things we could be dealing with, major communication with the lovers, darling. Okay. So like really communicating with your lovers. And this is also because it's in opposition. This card also represents Gemini. So again, major communication. One. Two, this is opposition to the lovers. This is an opposition to your partner, because Aries represents the self. So a lot of seesaw and having a balance between yourself and your partner. Okay. So that's what we have. A lot of fighting the haters. Okay. So Mercury in Aries is going to be a lot of fighting with the haters. Ooh, but really having some fun energy with females. Again, supportive system, but major female energy makes me think of, because that Neptune is sitting next to Mercury. So a lot of fire and passion with female energy. Now let's talk about this new moon in Aries, and this is more personal energy. We have the King of Machetes. This new moon is going to make you have some clarity, seek the truth, a lot of discussions, a lot of passion when it comes to the intellect and the communicator. This new moon in Aries is also going to make a lot of people do research globally, or expanding their world, getting ready to get up and have the drive to move forward. So that's what also this new moon is going to do. And also too, we have this nostalgic energy here. This new moon in Aries for you is also going to bring something that you're familiar with. So it's a new energy, but yet there's something that seems very familiar added to this energy. So I'm ready to see what that is about. Let's see what that is. Okay, and then April 19th. Let me put the chart back up. Let's go now, because I didn't finish the week. April 19th, we have Mars is fully sitting next to Saturn. It's getting closer. I do want you to understand. Oh, I'm so glad I have my notes, because I would totally forget this. These are two malefic planets. Okay, Mars is a malefic. Neptune is a greater malefic, meaning that there are not the positive energy. Okay, a lot of pressure, a lot of conflict, a lot of controlled force, forced discipline, controlled power, pressure to act now. Saturn, I didn't say this in this video, but if you didn't know, Saturn is the planet that represents restriction, discipline, and consequences. It is the father of time. It is karma. It moves slow. Yeah, it will teach you the lesson. Okay. You know, people have their Saturn returns, and there is a lot of negativity, pessimism, code, very heartless kind of energy. Okay. Feeling pushed to take action, but also feeling blocked and slowed down, learning patience the hard way, being forced to be mature and to grow up. A lot of discipline, a lot of high focus, a lot of seeing it to the end. Frustration, anger, feeling restricted, conflict with authority. It made me think of the rap song Lauryn Hill, "Question the Authority." You guys probably are like, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, but Saturn also represents any kind of energy that has on uniforms. So like the police, okay? That also adds that element of restriction. So be aware of that. Hitting obstacles when you're trying to move forward also too is what you get. But it could be disciplined action, very strategic move, very long-term success, very controlled strength. I do see this dealing with the military when you're talking about collective energy. Government also is what Saturn represents, and government being more assertive, more aggressive, strict policies and crackdowns, conflict between authority as well versus yourself, pressure building before action is taken, kind of energy. Yeah, but really feeling restricted. The government is really involved here too. Okay. So I just want you to understand that that's happening this week as well. Okay. So negative, negative, negative energy, but we're going to think more positive. On the same note, later on this week, happy solar return to all of my Tauruses. Bum, 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 bum. Happy birthday, all my Tauruses. What an exciting time. My daughter's a Taurus, and boy, does she love a nap. If a Taurus is not described by a nap, I don't know what it is. But the sun alone generally represents your identity, your sense of self, your ego, your confidence. It's the life force, it's vitality, it's your purpose. It's like Mars. There's direction. There's also deals with leadership and authority, visibility, recognition. Whatever the sun touches in the sky is going to highlight some stuff. Creativity and self-expression, willpower and determination. The sun represents the father figure. If you didn't know, when it's summer solstice, that's around Father's Day, and there's a reason for that. But also authority figures and what you shine at naturally, right? That's what the sun represents. When it enters the sign Taurus, well, let's just talk about Taurus first of all. Taurus is an earth sign. So you're talking about anything tangible. It's got to touch it, can't just see it. Also, it is very realistic and grounding. There's a lot of themes with money, finances, stability, security, values, and what you value your self worth, luxury items, comfort, food, pleasure, indulgence, beauty, aesthetics, slow, very steady growth, very persistent, that Taurus energy. Taurus energy is all about the material and it likes to have possessions. A lot of hoarders have some negative aspects with Taurus. Loyalty and consistency, the physical world is what it's serious about. Now, when the sun is entering Taurus, we are going to have a high focus on what we value. If you value money, well, there you go. If you value your income, if you value finances, also too, we're leaving that Aries energy. We're slowing it down. We're not rushing. We're setting some intentions. We're building something that's more stable and more long lasting. We're prioritizing our comfort and our peace and our security. There's an increased focus on comfort and a little bit being lazy and taking that nap. Okay. Grounded energy, getting practical, being realistic, a desire for consistency, a desire for routine, a lot of spending of the money, not just focusing on it, but spending it, also connecting to the body, right? What is your food? What is your self-care? What is your rest? And turning ideas into tangible results. Collectively, mundane astrology. What do we expect around the world when the sun enters Taurus? First, we're focused on a war. Before that, we were focused on the Epstein. That was in Pisces. Then it moves into Aries, and then we're focused more on the war. Now we're going to be focused on our resources. God damn it, why is this bill so high? It's all about the economy. It's about the banking system, stocks, the financial systems, financial institutions, anything we value, food supply, agriculture, natural resources. Again, the gas and oil and the telephones, if that's your natural resource, a lot of luxury markets, consumer spending, stability and scarcity, labor and productivity. Also, now while Sun is in the sign Taurus, we're building that stability and we're moving slower. Venus is going to be the ruler of Taurus. Look at Venus over here, sitting next to Uranus. Ooh, wee. This is going to affect Trump, number one. Two, for us, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus and now the sun is in Taurus, expect some unexpected shifts and change, unexpected shifts in money, in love, in value. Ooh, financial changes, unexpected opportunities. The banks, like what is going on with the banks, what is going on with our resources, a lot of impulsive spending, a lot of instability when it comes to relationships, a lot of disharmony and shaky grounds when it comes to our yeah, disharmony when it comes to our harmony and our peace of mind. Okay. Libra energy also represents law and justice and fairness, and it's acting different. Okay, it's acting brand new because Uranus loves a brand new energy. So we do have that. They're both going to move into the sign Taurus. That's going to not sign Taurus. They're both going to move into the sign Gemini. When they move into Gemini, this also is some unexpected business with communication and trade. Something new as well. This will also affect Trump, but something new in trade for us because Gemini does represent that trade and communications. But it's going to affect that ego and that drive and us collectively. So let's see how that plays out. Also, too, when the sun is in Taurus, it immediately has a negative aspect with Pluto, and Pluto's in the sign Aquarius. This is major power struggles. Again, this is something with finances, or even like freedom of speech, dealing with stability. Aquarius likes new stuff, Taurus likes old stuff. It ain't getting along. The new stuff, Taurus is like, we don't want that new stuff. Okay, so like a force change. Uh, Even Pluto represents transformation, major leadership, power, obsession, control here. So let's see how that plays out. Obsession with control, power struggles, financial stress. This could be dealing with something with banking, crypto, finances, and the internet as well. Yeah, traditionally way of flying too. There could be something there happening too. May 1st, we're talking about the sun and what the sun is doing now. And we're talking about Taurus. And May 1st is when we will have a full moon in Scorpio. And this is going to be huge with finances again. Let's see how this plays out. It's going to be at 11 degrees. Again, that's something that's very futuristic when it comes to the emotions, and a Scorpio full moon is very emotional, so get ready for that. May 11th, the sun in Taurus was sitting close to Mercury. It's going to sextile Jupiter. This may be positive. This may be more grounded thinking, maybe more a lot of important conversations, a lot of planning, and thinking about the finances for sure. But the emotions are involved in a positive way. So that could be happening. And then May 21st, the sun will enter Gemini. And let's see, will it be sitting? Why don't I know this? The sun, Mercury will be sitting there. But when the sun, yep, it'll be conjunct Uranus. Ooh, we're going to get some tea that day. We're going to get some tea that day. But also, too, I want you to understand that May 16th, not May 16th, when is the sun conjunct? When the sun conjuncts May 11th, we may be getting something in the headlines that day too. So yeah, that is what we have. And then April 20th, we're back on this week. That's when Mercury will be April 20th. Mercury will fully conjunct Mars. They will be sitting at the same exact degree. That's 8 degrees. That is dealing with the finances, power and control, or something that's very taboo. Could be something dealing with Epstein. Okay. Say it, do it now kind of energy will be said. Again, this could be arguments or fast thinking. This could be quick decisions or impulsive texts that you're going to regret. Okay. But a lot of bold communication, but a lot of saying something that you can't take back. Speaking your mind without hesitation. Moving the mind faster than the actual wisdom. There's sharp words. There's words used as a weapon kind of energy. So be aware of that. Collectively, though, this is issues with the global economy. Usually, when Mercury and Mars sit together, there is a sense of depression too. But this is because this is about trade, and there's aggression towards trade, towards e-commerce, towards commerce. So be ready for that this week. And going on into Taurus season, a lot of discussions about your resources and finances. Okay. If you don't have it together, let's see, what can we do about that? Okay. If you're insecure about your finances, oh, it's God's going to have you come to your true calling. He's going to have a rude awakening for you. What can you do with that? You got to let go of the toxic energy. So if the toxic energy is shopping, if the toxic energy, whatever the addiction is, if the addiction is social media, you got to stop it because it's causing you to lose your finances and make you insecure about your finances. Okay. The death card represents toxic energy. It represents the devil. It represents a transformation. It represents a change. There needs to be a huge change. Okay. Change it so you can grow and have a rebirth of some sort. Okay. I thought of the devil, but it really is a death and transformation. But I do toxic energy has got to change. It's got to shift. There's an awakening. There is going to be a rude awakening for you. Okay. Now what I pulled this card because it was something positive. Mercury, the finances positively is an abundance for a lot of people who are on top of their money. Okay. They're thinking blissfully. They're happy with their family. These are people who are very serious about their money. But if you're not serious about your money, there will be an ending of this negativity. It's going to be a force energy to shut that down. Because we do have a lot of energy in Saturn, a lot of energy touching Saturn. Mars touching Saturn, Mercury touching Saturn. Yeah, so the karma will come for all of us collectively. Okay. Yeah, so that is what we have. Let me see. What do we have for this week? I'll just pull for this week. For you this week, we have a lot of self-made energy, a lot of entrepreneurship, okay? A lot of getting things started. Oh, we have the Tower card. Oh, the Tower card is all about disruptions. Shaking that foundation that was not stable. Any foundations you are leaning on that is not stable, God will take it away and make you focus on the stability and what the foundation you should be leaning on. So, for example, just an example, don't take it personal. Let's say you're on welfare. God said, I'm taking that away. I want you to think of stability and I want you to focus on leaning on your own foundation, not on this shaky foundation that could just be taken away. Because guess what? I just took it away. Now, for the collective, we have the temperance. Okay. Everyone think in moderation, be optimistic, think globally, alchemy, whatever is bad, add some good. You want to make your own medicine. When I say alchemy, make your own medicine, heal yourself. Kind of energy. That's what we have for the week, but it's very global. That's Sagittarius, which represents the world. So a lot of global things happening collectively. Yeah, so that is what we have. Okay. I hope that wasn't too much information. It's an hour and 6 minutes. I think I did good timing. Also, too, I want you to know the next video will be political. I will talk about the predictions of Trump. And yeah, we'll get into that tea in that video. But yeah, if you guys have any questions personally or with the horoscopes or with the tarot cards that I pulled, write it down below. If you are looking for something that is connected to this video, I will highly, highly recommend for you to look at my Everything in Aries video, Spring Equinox video. I'll link it down. It's not linked down now, but if I can remember, I'll link it down below because then you'll understand everything you need to know about Aries. All right. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.